Well, it's time for a look at what's making news in the world of business. For that, I'm joined on set by Charles Pellegrin. Hello, Charles.
Hi, Karis.
We're starting with Donald Trump's pick for Commerce Secretary.
The President-elect of the United States has chosen the CEO of Wall Street firm Cantor, Fitzgerald, as the head of the Commerce Department when he takes office in January. Howard Lutnick is a longtime friend of Trump's, even appearing on the reality TV show The Apprentice. He was also co-chair of Trump's transition team. The Commerce Department oversees a number of different areas, including tariff implementation, export controls, as well as regulating ocean navigation and undertaking the census. He espouses Trump's economic vision, which is to bring back manufacturing jobs to the U.S. by applying import tariffs and cutting taxes. Take a listen.
We all say, make America great again. But let's just go over for a minute what that means, because we all say it as a slogan. When was America great? At the turn of the century, our economy was rocking. This is 1900, 125 years ago. We had no income tax. And all we had was tariffs.
So what are Trump's plans when it comes to tariffs, Charles?
Well, he's promised to apply a whole range of tariffs on imports to the U.S. while on the campaign trail as a means to extract funds from competing countries, boost local manufacturing, and protect U.S. consumers. This could translate into a 10 to 20% blanket tariff on all imports to the U.S. and extra tariffs ranging from 60 to 100% for goods coming from China specifically. He's started a trade war with Beijing in his first term, citing as his reason for this the large trade deficit the U.S. has with China, a policy that was continued under the Biden administration. China's trade surplus with the United States has nonetheless continued to grow.
And what impact could these tariff plans have on the U.S. economy?
Well, many economists, as well as leading CEOs like Ken Griffin of hedge fund Citadel, are concerned that it would negatively affect American GDP growth. The reasoning here being that corporations would transfer the cost of the higher import tariffs onto consumers and onto the goods that consumers buy, thereby leading to higher inflation, which in turn would lead to slower economic activity, especially as higher inflation could lead the Federal Reserve, the central bank, to stop its rate-cutting cycle. The Tax Foundation has run different scenarios and models for tariffs and their impact on economic growth. In the event of a 10% blanket import tariff, it could lead to a 0.5% drop in real GDP. In the event of a 20% blanket tariff and 60% tariffs on Chinese goods, this could lead to a 1.3% drop in GDP, even more, even 1.7% if possible retaliation from China is taken into account.
All right, let's move on now with a look at the markets.
Absolutely. Mounting geopolitical tensions between Ukraine and Russia weighing on investor sentiment, leading to a mixed picture in Europe this Wednesday, with, as we can see, the FTSE in London just below the flat line, the Paris CAC 40 up 0.5% higher. Also ahead, the earnings of AI chip giant NVIDIA, a real marker of where the artificial intelligence trade lies. A quick look at Bitcoin as well, still riding that upward wave since Trump's win, his pick for Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, also a crypto enthusiast and backer of the stablecoin Tether, whose value is pegged to the U.S. dollar, also making gains because of the likelihood of more tariffs under Trump.
All right, and let's end in South Africa, where the fate of one power plant illustrates the country's difficult energy transition.
The Komati coal plant, the country's oldest, was shut down in 2022 and was meant to be repurposed into a wind and solar plant. Workers were supposed to be reskilled and infrastructure reconfigured, including its massive cooling towers, but that hasn't happened. Take a look.
It was once one of South Africa's leading producers of coal-powered electricity. Now, Komati Power Station lies dormant. It was shut down in 2022 to make way for wind and solar power, trumpeted as a pioneering project in the world's transition to green energy. Public utility company Eskom was commissioned by the government to facilitate the shift and financed by a $440 million loan from the World Bank. But construction of the wind and solar installations has yet to get underway. Poor planning and delays in paperwork have been cited as the main stumbling blocks.
There's been a process since then to bring the renewables on board. So, yeah, technically we should have done things earlier, so we would consider it not a success. But we've learned from that, and other stations are now applying lessons learned from Cromarty. With that regard, it is successful.
The plant had been the main provider of employment in the small town, and it had been planned for workers to be re-skilled. But for now, there are only minor jobs to be done, with many relying on government grants just to survive.
When we lost our jobs here, it troubled the community in a big way. There's also people who came out with nothing in the end, and that was very bad. We didn't like that one bit.
Cromarty was the first coal plant in the country to be decommissioned, but it won't be the last. 5 of the remaining 14 are set to follow by 2030.
All right, Charles, thank you very much for that business update.